Today, we're delving into something foundational, something that sits at the heart of human existence and shapes the way we navigate our lives. It's a topic that connects the limits of our physical bodies to the heights of our mental capabilities: the power of genetics. You might hear about nature versus nurture all the time, but the truth is, nature works hand in hand with nurture to shape who we are and how far we can go. So, what role does your genetic code play in your life's journey? And where does your willpower step in to push you beyond what you thought was possible? To set the stage, let's decode the science for a moment. Genes, composed of DNA, are the molecular blueprint that influence many traits we carry. They consist of sequences of nucleotides, the basic building blocks that make up the DNA molecule itself. This genetic information forms what's known as a genotype, the entire collection of genes that an individual possesses. From this genetic material arises the phenotype, the combination of visible traits and characteristics, from your height to your capacity for abstract thinking. But here's where it gets interesting. Genes don't act in isolation. They need the right environment to express themselves. A gene might lie dormant without the right conditions, and some traits only emerge from the interaction between multiple genetic factors and their surroundings. Let's bring this into perspective. Consider something as straightforward as height. It's a physical characteristic everyone possesses, yet it's influenced heavily by genetic inheritance, about 80% of it, with environmental factors like nutrition filling in the rest. Our potential height is largely locked in from birth, but it can be modified to some extent by lifestyle. On the other hand, intelligence is more complex. Defined by some psychologists as the capacity to learn from experience, adapt to new situations, and solve problems, it involves a broad range of cognitive functions. Research suggests that genetic factors significantly contribute to intelligence, but again, they interact with environmental influences to shape how these capabilities manifest. So, if our traits are tied to our genes, does that mean our achievements are already decided at birth? It's a daunting thought. The idea that a part of our potential might be fixed, unchangeable, based on the genetic lottery is enough to make anyone pause. It's true that there's a limit to how much we can alter the raw potential we inherit, whether it's in athletics, creativity, or cognitive aptitude. Some of us may be genetically predisposed to excel in specific areas, while others might have to work much harder to reach similar levels of success. But while genes set the stage, they don't determine the whole show. The real question becomes, how do you play the hand you're dealt? Your genetic blueprint might influence your starting point, but your choices, habits, and mindset shape where you go from there. It's not about competing with others who might have had a head start. It's about maximizing your own capacity, about recognizing that the boundaries are not as rigid as they seem. The effort you put into honing your skills, nurturing your strengths, and even overcoming your weaknesses will amplify your outcomes far beyond what your genetic makeup suggests. You also need to keep this in mind when comparing your journey to someone else's. Figures like Albert Einstein or modern-day innovators who seem almost superhuman in their intellectual feats may have indeed inherited certain advantages. That doesn't make their achievements less impressive. It just adds another layer to the story. It serves as a reminder that their victories come from a blend of inherited traits, hard work, and perhaps even a touch of luck. But make no mistake, while genetic factors provide the groundwork, it's the resilience to keep pushing forward, the courage to face setbacks, and the willingness to embrace challenges that truly elevate one's legacy. So, as you reflect on where you stand today, remember that the narrative isn't about nature versus nurture, but rather how nature works through nurture. Your genes provide the starting line, but it's your determination that will take you across the finish line. The greatest of achievements are rarely the result of raw potential alone. They're forged in the crucible of dedication, shaped by countless choices, and sustained by a relentless desire to grow. Whether you're striving to reach new heights or simply seeking to understand your capabilities, remember, the cards may be dealt, but the game is far from over. Keep pushing, keep striving, and let your drive transform your genetic blueprint into the life you truly desire.